5 stars. No notes. Perfect. A spicy, fun why choose, and this was that. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Let's be honest. She's a little showgirl. High five. Yay! Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Laura, and today we're going to go through every single book that I read in the month of October. If you watched my last video where we picked our TBR for November, you'll know that I asked you guys for your feedback on whether I should continue to keep my TBR video and my reading wrap up separate, or if I should combine them. And so many of you came back to me with your feedback, which was absolutely amazing, and it was great to get all your opinions. However, there was such a divide on opinions. And so taking everything into consideration and taking into consideration all of your comments and your feedback, I am probably just going to continue to do my reading wrap-ups however it works best for that particular month. So for the most part, I will try and keep them as I was already doing them, where I do my TBR and my wrap-up in one video. But if it comes to a month where I need to do what I've done this month, where I recorded my TBR video before the month was over, but I still wanted to keep reading and finish reading a few more books before I did my wrap up, then I'll split them. And like I said, I will be doing Bookmas this year, provided everything goes to plan. So for Bookmas, I will be separating them, but you will only have to wait 2 days between videos. My plan for Bookmas is to post 12 videos for you guys and post every other day starting from the beginning of December leading up to Christmas. Fingers crossed I can pull it out the bag, because that is a lot of content for me to film and edit and get back to you guys, but I honestly can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm doing a lot of work behind the scenes already for little things that I want to do, and I just really want it to work out, so hopefully I can deliver. But anyway guys, as usual, please grab yourself a drink, get comfy, and let's get into today's video. I managed to read a total of 8 books in October, and I'm very proud of myself. We did set a highly ambitious TBR for the month of October of 9 books. And yes, we only read 8, but I did a pretty good job at sticking to my TBR this month. I really did. So as usual guys, we will go through these in the order that I read them in during the month. So we kicked off October with Killer of Mine by Alexis Grace. This is the first book in a series. I think there's 3 books, I believe. I did a combination of the audio and the Kindle ebook for this. And guys, it was so good. In the end, I rated it a very solid 3.5 stars. This was like crack. I could not put it down. I did not want to stop listening. I did not want to stop reading it. I was in the perfect mood for this, and it has been such a long time since I have read a spicy, fun why choose, and this was that. So the whole plot is kind of like these 4 guys who are FBI, and our FMC is, I think she's police. She's quite high up in the police force, and basically she is the daughter of a serial killer, and she joined the police to try and sort of bring down her dad while trying to conceal her identity at the same time. The 4 FBI dudes are working the case for the serial killer that's her dad, and she's kind of sneaking around, getting in their business, going to their crime scenes, and she ends up getting caught by them, and in a roundabout way ends up helping them out. Now, this isn't the slowest of slow burns, but they all do kind of gravitate towards her at different rates, with them all having different circumstances and personalities. But I just ate this up. It kind of gave slight Mindfuck series vibes. I loved the crime, murder, mystery vibes, and the narration was great as well, because each MMC had a different narrator as well, and it really just brought them to life for me, and I I loved this. And I wouldn't even say it was super spicy either. It was just the right amount, and I feel like the plot was super interesting as well. Like, I was very invested, and it was just exactly the right book for me when I read it, and I ate it up. I really did. And then next I read Frost by C.N. Crawford. I rated this 3 stars, and I feel like this is the perfect kind of book to get someone out of a reading slump. So this is a fae fantasy where there's like the human world and fae world separate but also intertwined. Our FMC is fae, but she was raised in the human world and basically finds out her boyfriend has been cheating on her. And basically, long story short, she ends up striking a deal with the Seelie King to kind of join and try and win this tournament, which is essentially a fae equivalent of The Bachelor. He doesn't want a wife, he doesn't want to fall in love, so she is the perfect person for this deal because she does not appeal to him at all, essentially, at this point. And as you can imagine, it doesn't stay that way, but she agrees because he's going to pay her a whole lot of money and she wants the money, and so she goes and joins these deadly trials. So start to finish, this is super fast paced, there's high stakes, and it is super short. Also, I ended up doing the graphic audio for this, and I would say that if I was going to do the audio again, I wouldn't do the graphic audio and I'd do the normal audio because I didn't love the narrators. Narrators make such a difference to my listening and reading experience, like it's crazy, but yeah, it just wasn't my favorite choice of narrators. I didn't feel like they fit the characters that I was kind of imagining in my head. But anyway, the only reason why I didn't rate this higher than 3 stars is because I don't love reminders of the real world in my fantasy books. So typically those are ones that I tend to enjoy a little bit less, but I do know that a lot of people would love this and eat this up. And it was very fun. It was very fast paced, super bingeable, which is why I say this is the perfect kind of book to get you out of a reading slump. Sometimes I think when you're in a slump, something that's like short and rewardable like this, like gives you that little serotonin boost you need to then sort of start the snowball of getting back into reading again. And this is honestly perfect for that kind of thing. And because Frost was so short, I decided to go straight into Ambrosia because it's just a duology, and I thought I may as well finish the duet just so I get to the end of the story, because I was very invested in the plot and I did want to know where it was going. But I feel like this book took such a turn from the first book. Like, the setting was just so different, and obviously I think that happens a lot where you have books with trials in, and there's trials in the first book, and then of course you can't really just keep having trials in every single book. So I also rated this one 3 stars, and I think this wrapped up the duology really nicely. But I do think had both of these books been an additional 100-200 pages longer, again, I probably would have rated them a little bit higher and enjoyed them just that little bit more, just a bit more sort of meatiness and substance, because the world building was fairly minimal. But again, if you're in a slump, these are the perfect kind of books to pick up because they are bingeable. Because of the lack of major world building, it's just a little bit more palatable, I suppose. But yeah, a super fun time, and I can 100% appreciate this duology for what it is, and it was super fun. Okay, and then next I read In the Veins of the Drowning by Kaylee Cassidy, and I rated this 5 stars. I ate this up, and you may have already seen my reading vlog in which I read this, and it was a predicted 5-star reading vlog. And this met the predictions. From the start to finish, I was just consumed by this story, and I did not want to put it down for a single second. And I did do the majority of this on audio, and the audiobook was great. It was so good. This is a dark fantasy with sirens and mages and monsters and gods, and it felt very unique, like how it was delivered, like the storytelling, and I really enjoyed that. And also the way the sirens are depicted, they've got big black wings. If you actually Google sirens and Greek mythology, that is originally how they were depicted. So I love that she did something a little bit different, because mostly in fantasy books, sirens are depicted a lot like mermaids, you know, with the tails and no wings. And so I just thought that was really cool. Our FMC is a siren, and her character development throughout this was incredible. I really loved her character. In the beginning, she is the king's ward, and he's kind of just taken advantage of her, basically arranged her to marry the captain of his guard, who is like his head siren hunter. So obviously that is not ideal when she is a secret siren. But very quickly we are introduced to our MMC in the book, who is a king from a different kingdom. And from the beginning, I was obsessed with him, but by the end of this book, I was even more obsessed with him. The way this man is yearning for her by the end of this book, it is just chef's kiss. So good. The tension in this, the longing, the push and pull, the denial. Oh, it was just immaculate vibes. There was quite a lot of like dark elements and it was a bit gothic as well, and I just, it was exactly what the doctor ordered, and I cannot wait for the next book. I think it comes out pretty soon, although I'm not actually sure. I could be making that up. I hope it comes out soon, but we'll see. 5 stars, no notes. I've just realized I didn't get one of the books that we needed off the shelf, so I'm gonna go grab that. The next book that I read was Silvercloak by L.K. Stephen. This was so good. I rated this 4.5 stars. Laura Stephen has a way of writing where you get so attached to the characters. To emphasize this, I was crying in the prologue because she'd already got me attached to the characters in, what, 2 pages? And I just think she is just such an incredible author. Her writing style is so beautiful and her stories are so unique. This was incredibly unique. The magic system, so where do I even start? And there is high stakes in this from start to finish. I was reading this on the edge of my seat. I did, again, do a combination of the audio and I read some of the physical book as well. So essentially in this we have mages with wands, and the magic system was super unique. So it was this whole pain and pleasure thing where the magic was replenished and strengthened by either using pain or pleasure. And this is adult, by the way, in case you're wondering about some of the pleasure parts and the pain parts, I guess. I also felt like there was a really good diverse cast of characters in this, and the world building was also super interesting. But other than that, we had secrets and betrayals and, you know, all the good stuff that we like in a fantasy book. The romance was definitely more of a subplot in this, but the romance that was there I was super interested in. Think kind of like similar level to The Knight and the Moth, where it's kind of there throughout the whole book. Honestly, the plot in this was so exciting and so interesting. Like, the romance could have quite easily not been there and it would have been just as good. But I do typically like at least a little sprinkle of romance in my books, if I'm honest. So basically our FMC, Saffron, she is a Silvercloak and she goes undercover to join the Blood Moons, which is essentially like the mafia. And so she's infiltrating the mafia to essentially bring them down from the inside. Who's the MMC, you ask? The mafia boss's son. Yeah. So you can only imagine how that goes. But the high stakes in this, like, it was so stressful at some points, but so good. And actually, I'm going to quickly show you this edition because I feel like it captures the vibes of the book so well. This is the Fairy Loot edition, which is absolutely stunning. And then there's some character art on the end pages. So that is our FMC and MMC there. And then on the back, we have our FMC and her ex-girlfriend. Oh, and also our FMC ends up being quite morally grey. And I love that, I really do. So I'm super excited to see where this goes in the next book. The next book that I read was Fallen Stars by Imani Eriu, and this comes out this month. So super excited for everyone else to be able to go and read this because I rated this 4.5 stars. I loved this. I can't even decide if I loved this more than Heavenly Bodies, but it was such a great follow-up to Heavenly Bodies. It picked up straight from where we left off. Obviously, I don't want to say too much for anyone who hasn't read Heavenly Bodies yet. I felt like the first book was very much a romantasy and very like romance focused, and this is still very romantic and very much focused on the romance between Alara and Enzo, but also we get more into the nitty-gritty of the plot, and I was here for it. It's one of those series where each book we're kind of going to be in a different kingdom, and in this book we were in sort of like a seaside kingdom with like mermaids, sirens, like a very sort of gothic-y, dark seaside town, and I loved the setting in this. There was new POVs introduced, so we're kind of also going to get romance for side characters as well, kind of like when you read Throne of Glass and you start getting like romance for the side characters and stuff. This is like that kind of vibe as well. Like, oh, the direction I know it's going in now, I am so here for. Also, I cannot talk about Fallen Stars without talking about Ariette. You know Ariette the villain? Yeah, I am obsessed with him. I am down bad for that man. We get a little bit more of him in this book than we did in book 1, and every time he was mentioned, every time he was on page, I was feral. Again, you may have seen me do a reading vlog for this already, so you maybe don't need me to say too much more than that, but I will repeat my statement from the reading vlog. If bad, why hot? I don't want to talk too much about the plot in this because with book 1 ending on such a cliffhanger and being quite up in the air, I don't want to say anything that could potentially spoil it for people who haven't read Heavenly Bodies. So we're going to stop there and just know I loved this. I ate it up. And I am so here for this series. And then the next book we finished in October was, of course, Alchemised. If you couldn't tell already, I enjoyed this a little bit. I did. I rated this 6 stars. This is God tier. I want to cry just thinking about this book. And before you ask, yes, I did film this for a reading vlog, which will be hopefully coming by the end of the month, but I have a few other exciting things planned that I will be doing related to this book that I want to include, so I can't share it with you just yet, but hang in there because it will be with you very soon and you will see the emotional roller coaster I went on. I cried for 90% of this book, I think. I think Sen has done the most incredible job rewriting this whole story and coming up with this incredibly intricate magic system and the world building and all the new plot points and twists that came with the new magic system. And I feel like I really struggled to put into words how I feel about this book, just because I feel like there's so many complex emotions surrounding this book. It's definitely one that I think will divide people. Like, people will either love this, rate it 6 stars, be obsessed with it, or they'll DNF it. It is really one of those where it is very much, you're either here or you're there, and I am here. I am here. I'm obsessed with Sen. The writing is incredible. The whole theme of this book, the war-torn setting. This is like a dark, epic, gothic fantasy, and there is romance in it, and it is technically a romance, but it's so much more than that, and it is so much deeper and darker than that. It's not your typical love story, and it's definitely not a romantasy. There is elements in this that are very triggering for people, and I do not say it lightly when I say please check the trigger warnings before going into this. Yeah, this book just consumed me entirely, and I quite literally will never get over this story. This is a big book, as we all know. This is over 1,000 pages. It quite easily could have been another 1,000 pages and I would have kept reading. This just is everything to me. It's everything to me. I definitely need to go and get some tattoos dedicated to this book. Also, quickly, I get asked a lot about my tabs and my tabbing system, my annotating. There is no system. Before I started this, I thought, should I do a tabbing system? And I was like, I could have one colour for world building. I could have one colour dedicated to sad parts. I could have one to the romance. I thought maybe I could have one tab that was for quotes by Kane, one tab that was for quotes by Helena. And in the end, I just decided that that would make it less enjoyable for me, because I would have to stop and think, what colour do I need to do? Whereas I just picked the colours that I thought would suit the cover of the book best, and then just went in and just tabbed, underlined anything I wanted to underline, made comments wherever I thought I wanted to make comments. I don't often make comments. Every now and again I do. If I was annotating a book for someone else, which I have done before, then I tend to write comments a lot more. If I'm just annotating it for myself, it's more just underlining things that I feel like impact me or make me feel, or that I just want to try and engrave in my brain so I remember them. But honestly, I had no chill. It was really hard. I honestly tried not to tab as much as I did, because that's ridiculous, isn't it? Let's be honest. But I could not physically stop myself. I was like, oh, but this feels important. Oh, but this feels significant. Oh, but that makes me want to cry. And I just couldn't stop myself. I had to underline almost every other page. Okay, and then the last book we read in October was The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid, and I rated this 3 stars. I didn't love this as much as I thought I was going to. I thought the writing was beautiful. I thought the storytelling was really beautiful, but I think perhaps the fact that I just read Alchemised didn't do this any favors. The romance, I think, let it down for me a little bit. I didn't feel loads of chemistry between our FMC and MMC, but one thing I did really love in this was all the folklore and the storytelling in this. There is a lot. So if you like fairy tales and folklore and stories, you'll love this. I definitely want to read more of Ava Reid's book because I really liked her writing style, and I did like how she wrote her characters. I think just maybe the dynamic between these two wasn't particularly for me. I wasn't sold on the MMC. He wasn't emo sad boy enough for me. He was kind of a bit too soft almost. He wasn't soft. Like, he'd blush quite a lot and be like quite bashful. I think maybe that just wasn't for me. But yeah, it was okay, and I definitely want to read more of her work for sure. Okay, so that is all the books that we managed to read in October. Since we read quite a few books that were on the TBR shelf, I think we'll sit and we will try squeeze a few more books in the TBR shelf since we have a couple more spaces now. Okay, we have a little stack here of some books that I haven't read yet that are on my TBR, so we're gonna see what we can squeeze in here. I did just grab a copy as well of All Your Bloody Lies by M.L. Burns. The quality of the print on the front isn't great. I don't think you can tell on the camera, but the pages are black. How cool is that? And there's also like bits of art inside, like on the chapter pages and stuff. Very cool. So that's our FMC, I'm guessing, and I'm assuming that is our MMC. I don't think I own a book that is entirely black pages. This is actually on my TBR to read this month as well, so I don't know if I should bother putting it on the shelf or not. I think it might be nice to have it on the shelf just so when I want to grab it, it's right there. You want attention? Oh, the dogs are here. Oh, Bunny, you're really putting on a show. Look at you. Oh, wonderful. Just in time. Oh, she's a little showgirl. She's a little showgirl. High five. Yay! Can I just have a minute and I'll get this video finished and then I'll give you so much attention. Put you there, I think. Might just have room for this teeny weeny one. I who have never known men. This is super, super small, so I think we might be able to squeeze it in here. Perfect. Ooh, we have space here. Right, can we fit Brandy Sandy in here? Oh, not quite. So I'm gonna squeeze in The Fox and the Devil by Kirsten White. Oh, we have quite a few spaces. This is good. Will you fit in there? Squeeze that one in. Now, can we fit Brandy Sandy on this bottom shelf? Bunny, I need... What are you doing? Ah! I don't think we can. Oh, I do have some other arcs over there that I could grab, but I have dogs on me. I also have the Book of Blood and Roses and the Gravewood. So I think we're gonna put her in there. Lovely. Let's see. Another space here. Try again. Will he fit in here? Oh, I think he will. Perfect. Right, I think that is all our spaces pretty much filled up. Well guys, that pretty much brings us to the end of this video. If you have enjoyed watching this video, please do consider subscribing to my channel. But thank you so much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please do consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.